The gravestone is cold under her fingers. David Montgomery stops mid-step, white rose trembling in his hand. 20 feet ahead, a little girl kneels in the wet grass beside Elena's grave, blonde hair matted against her neck, beige dress torn at the shoulder, mud caked on shoes 2 sizes too big. She shouldn't be here. No one comes to this section of Pinewood Cemetery except him. His breath catches. The November wind cuts through his pressed linen suit, but he doesn't move. Can't move, because the child is whispering something to the stone, words he can't hear, but feels in his chest like a fist closing around his lungs. He takes another step. Dead leaves crunch beneath his feet. The girl's head snaps up. Her eyes, wide, green, terrified, lock onto his. Dirt streaks her cheeks. Her lips are chapped and bleeding at the corners. "Sweetheart," David says, voice cracking. "Are you lost?" She doesn't answer. Just stares at him like he's a ghost she wasn't supposed to see. He crouches down slowly, the way you approach a wounded animal. "It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." Her small hand slides off the tombstone. She's shaking so hard her teeth chatter. "What's your name?" he asks gently. "Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is." The girl's mouth opens, closes, opens again. When she finally speaks, her voice is barely a whisper. "She told me to come here." David's heart hammers against his ribs. "Who told you?" "The lady in my dreams." The girl's eyes fill with tears. "She said my mommy's name is Elena too." The rose falls from David's hand. Elena, his wife's name. The name carved into the gray stone between them. He forces himself to breathe. That's a coincidence. A lot of people are named Elena. But even as he says it, something cold crawls up his spine. Because the girl is looking at him now, really looking, and there's something in her face that makes his vision blur. "She used to sing to me," the girl whispers, "when I was scared. A song about stars." David's knees hit the wet grass. No, that's impossible. Elena's lullaby. The one she hummed every night when she was pregnant with Caleb. The one that died with her 7 years ago in that hospital room. Blood-soaked sheets and machines that couldn't save her. "Starlight, star bright, hold my baby through the night." How do you know that song? His voice sounds strange, distant, like it's coming from underwater. The girl doesn't answer. She's crying now, silent tears streaming down her dirt-smudged face. David reaches out, stops himself. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily," she says. "Lily Grace." The world tilts. Grace. Elena's middle name. The one she never told anyone except him. The one she wanted for their daughter if they'd ever had one. But they didn't have a daughter. They had a son. Just Caleb. Just. "Where are your parents?" David asks, but his hands are shaking so badly he has to press them against his thighs. Lily looks down at the grave. "I don't have any. The people at the house said I'm supposed to wait there until someone comes. But she kept calling me. In my dreams. She said I had to find a stone with her name." David's throat closes. He looks at the engraving. Elena Montgomery, beloved wife and mother. And something inside him shatters. This child knows things she shouldn't know. Sings songs she couldn't have learned. Shares a name that should mean nothing. And her eyes. God, her eyes are the exact shade of green as Elena's. That rare sea glass color he used to lose himself in every morning across the breakfast table. "Lily," he says carefully, "how old are you?" 6, I think. Maybe 7. They're not sure. 7 years ago. The same year Elena died giving birth. David's mind races. Foster system. Dreams. Elena's middle name. The lullaby. Those eyes. "If you were in his shoes, what would you do?" he manages to say, though his voice shakes. Stay with me, folks. Don't forget to subscribe for stories that touch the heart. He pulls out his phone with trembling fingers. "I'm going to call someone to help you, okay? Someone who can." "Please don't send me back," Lily whispers. "She said you'd keep me safe." David freezes, finger hovering over the screen. "Who said that?" Lily looks up at him, and for one impossible second, David sees Elena's face reflected in this strange child's features. The slope of her nose, the curve of her chin, the way her eyebrows arch when she's afraid. "The lady in my dreams," Lily says. "The one who looks like the picture on the stone." David's hand drops to his side, phone forgotten. The wind picks up, scattering dead leaves across the graves. Lily shivers in her thin dress, arms wrapped around herself like she's trying to hold her own body together. He should call the police, child services, someone. But his feet won't move. Because this girl, this impossible, terrified child, is humming now. Soft and broken, barely audible over the rustle of trees. Starlight, star bright. David's vision swims. His chest tightens until he can't breathe. That melody, Elena's voice used to carry it through their house at midnight when Caleb wouldn't sleep. She'd pace the hallway, swaying, singing words she said her grandmother taught her. No one else knew that song. David never sang it after she died. Couldn't bear to hear those notes without her voice behind them. Where did you learn that? The words come out harsh, almost angry. Lily stops humming. Her eyes go wide with fear. I'm sorry, David says quickly, softening his tone. I'm not mad. I need to understand. Who taught you that song? No one taught me, Lily whispers. I've always known it, like it was already inside me. David sinks down fully onto the cold grass, no longer caring about the mud soaking through his suit pants. His brain can't process this. Won't process it. 7 years ago, Elena died in childbirth. Complications. Hemorrhaging. The doctors said there was nothing they could do. David held his newborn son in one arm while his wife bled out on the table behind a curtain. One baby, one son, one heart-shattering loss. That's what they told him. Lily, he says slowly, tell me about the house. The place where you live. What's it called? She bites her lip. I don't know the name. It's big. Gray. Lots of kids. They say we're waiting for families, but nobody ever comes. Foster care. David's jaw tightens. This child has been in the system. Lost. Forgotten. In the dreams, he presses. When did they start? Always, she says. For as long as I remember. The lady comes and sits on my bed. She doesn't talk much. Just sings. And sometimes she cries. David's hands curl into fists. He looks at Elena's grave, the polished stone he picked out himself, the inscription he agonized over, the plot he visits every Sunday like a sacred ritual. What does she look like? His voice cracks. The lady in your dreams. Lily tilts her head, considering. Pretty. Long dark hair. Brown skin like mine, like yours. She has a scar here. She touches her collarbone. Shaped like a moon. David stops breathing. Elena had that scar. From a car accident when she was 16. A thin crescent just above her left collarbone that she used to trace with her finger when she was thinking. No one knew about that scar except family. David. Her mother. Maybe her sister. Not some random foster kid from across town. Hit like if you believe some truths find their way home, no matter how long it takes, David murmurs, not even sure why he's saying it. His mind is fracturing. Logic crumbling. Lily moves closer. Are you okay, mister? David, he says absently. My name is David. David, she repeats, testing the word. Then, softer, she says your name a lot. In the dreams, she says you're still waiting. His eyes burn. He blinks hard, refusing to let tears fall in front of this child who shouldn't exist. Lily, I need you to think very carefully. Have you ever been to a hospital? Seen doctors? Had any tests done? She nods. When I was little, before I remember much, the people at the house said I was sick, but I got better. Do you know which hospital? No. David pulls out his phone again. His hands are steadier now. Purpose replacing shock. I'm going to make some calls. We're going to figure out where you came from. But I promise, he meets her eyes. I promise I won't let anyone hurt you. Lily's face crumples with relief, so profound it breaks something in him. He stands, brushes mud from his knees, and extends his hand. Come on, let's get you somewhere warm. She takes his hand. Her fingers are ice cold and small enough to disappear inside his palm. They walk together toward the parking lot, Lily's 2 big shoes scuffing against the pavement. David glances back once at Elena's grave, that gray stone marking the spot where his old life ended. And now, maybe where something impossible is beginning. His phone buzzes. Unknown number. He almost ignores it, but something makes him answer. Mr. Montgomery. A woman's voice. Professional. Clipped. Yes. This is Officer Patricia Williams with Child Protective Services. We received a report about a missing child matching the description of a girl last seen near Pinewood Cemetery. Is she with you? David looks down at Lily, who's watching him with those two familiar green eyes. Yes, he says. She's safe. We'll be there in 15 minutes. Please don't leave the area. The line goes dead. Lily's grip on his hand tightens. You said you wouldn't let them take me. I won't, David says, though he has no idea how he'll keep that promise. Because something is very wrong here. This child knows things, impossible things, and someone, somewhere, has answers. He just has to find them before. A black sedan pulls into the cemetery parking lot. Too fast, too deliberate. Not the police. The wrong kind of official. The sedan's engine cuts. Silence drops like a curtain. David's grip on Lily's hand tightens. She presses against his leg, trembling. A woman steps out. Mid-50s, expensive charcoal suit, hair pulled back so tight it looks painful. She adjusts her sunglasses, unnecessary on this overcast morning, and walks toward them with the measured confidence of someone used to being obeyed. Mr. Montgomery? Her voice is smooth, practiced. David doesn't answer, just pulls Lily slightly behind him. The woman stops 10 feet away. I'm Patricia Williams. We spoke on the phone. But David has dealt with enough bureaucrats, enough social workers during the aftermath of Elena's death to know the difference between someone who cares and someone who's performing. This woman's smile doesn't reach her eyes. You got here fast, he says carefully. We take missing children seriously. She glances at Lily. Hello, sweetheart. Are you all right? Lily doesn't respond. Her fingers dig into David's palm hard enough to hurt. She's shaken up, David says. I found her by my wife's grave. She's been through something. I'm sure she has. Patricia's gaze shifts back to him. We'll need to take her back to the facility. Run some medical checks. Standard procedure. Which facility? Pinewood Children's Services. It's where she's registered. David frowns. She said she didn't know the name of the place. She's 6 years old, Mr. Montgomery. Children often don't remember administrative details. Something about her tone makes his shoulders tense. Too smooth, too rehearsed, like she's reading from a script. I'd like to come with her, David says. Make sure she's settled. That won't be necessary. I'd like to anyway. Patricia's smile tightens. Mr. Montgomery, I appreciate your concern, but we have protocols. The child needs to be processed properly. If you interfere, we'll have to involve law enforcement. David's jaw clenches. He's about to argue when his phone buzzes. Different number. Local area code. He answers without taking his eyes off Patricia. Hello. Mr. Montgomery, this is actually Officer Williams. Patricia Williams. I'm about 5 minutes out. Sorry for the delay. Traffic on Route 9. David's blood goes cold. He looks at the woman standing in front of him, still smiling that perfect empty smile. Who are you? He asks quietly. Her smile doesn't waver. I told you. Patricia Williams. No, David says, positioning himself fully between her and Lily. You're not. For a moment, nothing happens. The wind stops. The world holds its breath. Then the woman's expression shifts. The warmth drains from her face, leaving something harder, colder. Mr. Montgomery, she says slowly, you're making a mistake. Am I? She takes a step closer. David tenses, ready to grab Lily and run. That child doesn't belong to you, the woman says, voice dropping. She belongs to someone else. Someone who's been looking for her for a very long time. Who? That's not your concern. Like hell it's not. David's voice rises. This girl showed up at my wife's grave. My dead wife. She knows things she shouldn't know. And now you're here pretending to be someone you're not. So I'll ask again. Who are you? The woman studies him, calculating. Then she reaches into her jacket. David's heart hammers, but she only pulls out a business card. Extends it. He doesn't take it. Marianne Whitmore, she says. Director of Whitmore Medical Foundation. And that child, she nods toward Lily, is part of a very complicated situation that you don't understand. Then explain it. I can't. Not here. Not now. Why not? Marianne's eyes flicker with something that might be regret. Or calculation. Because some graves are better left closed, Mr. Montgomery. Trust me on that. Before David can respond, a police cruiser pulls into the parking lot. Real this time. Lights, official markings, everything. Marianne sees it too. Her jaw tightens. You're making a mistake, she says again, quieter now. For both of you. Then she turns and walks back to her sedan. Doesn't hurry. Doesn't look back. Just slides behind the wheel and drives away as the real Officer Williams steps out of her cruiser. David stands frozen, business card crumpled in his fist, Lily's hand still gripping his. Mr. Montgomery? Officer Williams, the real one, 50s kind face, tired eyes, approaches with her hands visible. I'm here about the child. David forces himself to focus, to breathe. She's safe. She's with me. I can see that. Williams crouches down to Lily's level. Hey there, sweetheart. I'm Patricia. I'm going to make sure you're okay. Is that all right? Lily looks up at David. He nods. Okay, Lily whispers. Williams stands, addresses David. We'll need to take her to the station. Run her prints, check missing persons reports. Standard protocol. I want to come. That's fine. You found her. We'll need your statement anyway. They walk to the cruiser together. David helps Lily into the back seat, buckles her in. She looks so small against the gray upholstery. You promised, she whispers. I know, David says, and I keep my promises. As Williams starts the engine, David unfolds the business card Marianne left behind. Whitmore Medical Foundation, an address in Boston, a phone number, and beneath that, handwritten in neat script, some truths are too dangerous to uncover. Would you have let her take the girl, or trusted your instincts like David did? The police station smells like burnt coffee and industrial cleaner. David sits in a plastic chair outside the processing room, leg bouncing, watching officers move through fluorescent-lit hallways like actors in a play he doesn't understand. Lily's been inside for 40 minutes. They said it would be quick. Everything about this is wrong. He pulls out his phone, stares at Marianne Whitmore's business card balanced on his knee. The handwritten warning glares back at him. Some truths are too dangerous to uncover. What truth? What is she hiding? His thumb hovers over the phone number. Logic says to wait. Talk to the police. Let the system work. But logic also says a 6-year-old girl shouldn't know his dead wife's lullaby. Shouldn't have her eyes. Shouldn't share her middle name. Logic has already failed him today. The processing room door opens. Officer Williams steps out, face tight. Mr. Montgomery, we have a situation. David stands. What kind of situation? There's no record of her. No fingerprints in the system. No missing persons report. No birth certificate we can find. It's like she doesn't exist. That's impossible. I know. Williams crosses her arms. But that's not the strangest part. Someone just called claiming legal guardianship. They're sending a representative to pick her up. David's stomach drops. Who? Didn't give a name. Just said they're from a medical foundation in Boston and they have documentation proving. Whitmore. Williams blinks. How did you know? David shows her the business card. Woman approached me at the cemetery right before you arrived. Pretended to be you. Said the child belonged to someone else. Williams' expression hardens. She takes the card, studies it. Did she threaten you? Not exactly. Just warn me. Said some graves are better left closed. What does that mean? I don't know. David's hands curl into fists. But my wife died 7 years ago at Whitmore General Hospital, giving birth to my son. And now this girl shows up at her grave, knowing things only Elena knew, and Whitmore Foundation suddenly claims legal custody. Williams is quiet for a long moment. Then, stay here. She disappears back into the processing room. David paces. His mind races through possibilities, each more disturbing than the last. Medical foundation. Legal guardianship. No records. Elena's complications during pregnancy. The emergency surgery. The way the doctors wouldn't let him in the room. The way they handed him one baby, just one, and told him his wife was gone. What if there were two? The thought crashes into him with the force of a train. His knees go weak. He sits down hard, head in his hands. Twins. Elena had been so sick those last months. The doctors said the baby was large. Difficult positioning. But what if? No, they would have told him. Wouldn't they? The processing room door opens again. This time a man in an expensive gray suit steps out. Early 40s, silver at his temples, the kind of polished confidence that comes from never hearing the word no. Mr. Montgomery? He extends a hand. James Whitmore. I'm here to collect the child. David doesn't shake. She has a name. Lily. Of course. James' smile is perfectly calibrated. Professional. Empty. I apologize for the confusion. We've been searching for her for quite some time. Searching? She's been in the foster system. A bureaucratic error. One we're rectifying now. With what legal standing? James pulls a folder from his briefcase. Medical custody agreement signed by the biological mother 7 years ago, before her death. It grants Whitmore Foundation guardianship in the event of complications. David's heart stops. Show me. James hands over the folder. David's hands shake as he opens it. There, in black and white, Elena's signature. Her full name. A legal document dated 3 days before she died. This is fake, David says, but his voice wavers. I assure you it's not. We have the original in Boston. This is a certified copy. David reads the document again. The medical jargon. The custody clauses. The signatures. Elena's, a doctor's, a lawyer's. Why would she sign this? You have to ask her. James' tone softens, almost sympathetic. I understand this is difficult, but the law is clear. The child comes with us. No. David stands, folder clutched in his fist. I don't care what this says. That girl stays here until I understand what's happening. Mr. Montgomery. She knew my wife's lullaby. She has her eyes. Her middle name. She dreamed about her. You expect me to believe that's coincidence? James' expression doesn't change. I expect you to follow the law. We have legal custody. If you interfere, we'll pursue charges. Officer Williams steps between them. Everyone calm down. Mr. Whitmore, I'll need to verify these documents before anyone goes anywhere. Of course. James checks his watch. I'll wait. He sits in the plastic chair David just vacated, crossing his legs, supremely confident. David pulls Williams aside. Something's wrong here. I can feel it. I know, she says quietly, but my hands are tied. If that document is legitimate, I have to release her. Then buy me time. There has to be something, a waiting period, a verification process, anything. Williams hesitates, then nods. I'll make some calls. But David, if this checks out, she goes with them. I can't stop it. I understand. But he doesn't. None of this makes sense. He walks to the vending machine in the corner, pretending to need water. Really, he needs distance. Space to think. His phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. Don't let them take her. Check Elena's things. The piano bench. She left you something. David's breath catches. He spins around, searching the station for whoever sent this. But there's only the usual chaos. Officers, civilians, the hum of fluorescent lights. He texts back, who is this? No response. The piano bench. Elena's old upright, the one she inherited from her grandmother. David hasn't opened that bench since she died. Couldn't bear to touch her sheet music, her personal things. What did she have left? James Whitmore stands, phone to his ear. His expression shifts, irritation breaking through the professional mask. I see. And how long will that take? He listens. His jaw tightens. Phoenix. We'll return tomorrow. He ends the call, turns to Williams. I'm told verification will take 24 hours. I trust the child will be kept safe until then. Absolutely, Williams says. James looks at David. Mr. Montgomery, I strongly advise you not to interfere with this process. It won't end well for anyone. Is that a threat? It's friendly advice. James collects his briefcase. From someone who's seen what happens when people dig into places they don't belong. He leaves. The station suddenly feels colder. Williams touches David's arm. Go home. Check whatever your wife left you. If there's something that contradicts this custody claim, bring it to me. But you have less than 24 hours. David nods. He goes back to the processing room, where Lily sits on a bench, too small, too scared. I have to go for a little while, he tells her. But Officer Williams will keep you safe. I promise I'm coming back. Lily's eyes fill with tears, but she nods. David leaves the station, climbs into his car, and drives home with his heart hammering. The piano bench. Something Elena left. 20 minutes later, he's in his living room, staring at the old upright piano that hasn't been touched in 7 years. He lifts the bench lid. Sheet music, old photographs, dried flowers from their wedding. And beneath it all, a sealed envelope with his name in Elena's handwriting. His hands shake as he tears it open. Inside, a single piece of paper. Elena's words, written in the careful script he'd know anywhere. David, if you're reading this, something has gone wrong. They told me it was the only way to save one of them. They said I had to choose. I couldn't. So I signed their paper and prayed you forgive me. Find Dr. Whitmore. She knows the truth about Lily. She knows what they did. The paper falls from David's hands. One of them. Twins. Elena had twins. And someone took his daughter. David reads the letter again. And again. Elena's handwriting blurs through tears he won't let fall. They told me it was the only way to save one of them. One of them. Not one baby. One of two. He staggers to the couch, legs giving out. 7 years. 7 years he's raised Caleb alone, visited that grave every Sunday, mourned a wife who died keeping the secret. Why didn't she tell him? His phone sits on the coffee table, Marianne Whitmore's business card beside it. The woman who pretended to be Officer Williams, who warned him about graves better left closed. She knows what they did. David's hand stops shaking. Grief hardens into something sharper, colder. He dials the number on the card. 3 rings. Then, Mr. Montgomery. I wondered when you'd call. Marianne's voice is calm, almost sympathetic. You took my daughter, David says. I saved your daughter. There's a difference. Explain it. A pause. Not over the phone. Come to Boston. Tomorrow morning. 9 o'clock. Whitmore Foundation, 15th floor. Why should I trust you? Because right now, I'm the only person who can tell you why your wife died, Mr. Montgomery. And more importantly, why your daughter is still alive. The line goes dead. David sits in the silence of his living room. The piano bench still open. Elena's letter on the floor. Photos of their wedding scattered across the coffee table. Her smile, that scar on her collarbone shaped like a crescent moon. A scar Lily described perfectly. He picks up his phone again, opens his photo gallery, scrolls back 7 years to the hospital. Pictures of newborn Caleb, tiny, perfect, swaddled in blue. Only one baby. The nurses have been so careful, so insistent he stay in the waiting room during delivery. Complications, they said. Emergency surgery. And then, Mr. Montgomery, I'm so sorry. Your wife didn't make it. One nurse handing him one baby while another closed the curtain behind her. The sound of machines. Movement he couldn't see. What if there was another baby? What if someone decided which one he got to keep? David's grip on his phone tightens until the case creaks. He stands, paces the room. The clock on the wall reads 3:47 p.m. Caleb will be home from school in 20 minutes. His neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, is picking him up, same as every day since Elena died. What does he tell his son? That he might have a sister? That everything they thought they knew about the worst day of their lives might be a lie? He can't. Not yet. Not until he knows. David grabs his keys. He has 16 hours until that meeting in Boston. 16 hours to prepare for whatever truth Marianne Whitmore is selling. But first, he needs to see Lily again. The drive back to the police station takes 12 minutes. He parks, practically runs inside. Officer Williams is at her desk, paperwork scattered everywhere. David, I need to see her. Williams looks up. Something in his face must convince her, because she doesn't argue. She's in the family room. 3rd door on the left. David finds it. Knocks once, pushes inside. Lily sits at a small table, coloring. When she sees him, her whole face lights up. You came back. I said I would. David sits beside her, studying the drawing. A house. Trees. Stick figures, 3 of them. One tall, 2 small. That's us, Lily says quietly. In my dream. The lady said that's what it's supposed to look like. David's throat tightens. Lily, I need to ask you something. It might be hard. She nods, crayon still in hand. Do you remember anything from when you were very small? Before the foster home? Just the white room. White room. With the machines. And people in masks. They gave me medicine that made me sleepy. David's blood runs cold. How old were you? I don't know. Little. The lady in my dreams says they hurt me, but they were trying to help. She says I shouldn't be angry. What else does she say? Lily looks down at her drawing. She says you were supposed to have both of us, but the doctors made a mistake, and she's sorry she couldn't stop them. Both of us. David's vision swims. He reaches out, takes Lily's small hand. I'm going to fix this. I promise. Are you my daddy? The question hangs in the air. David looks at this child. Her green eyes, her dark skin, the way she tilts her head when she's uncertain, exactly like Elena used to. I don't know yet, he says honestly, but I'm going to find out. Lily nods like this makes perfect sense. The lady says you're good at fixing things. She says that's why she sent me to you. David's eyes burn. He blinks hard. Your mom, Elena, was she good at fixing things too? She tried, but she was too sick. The machines couldn't help her. Lily goes back to coloring. She says it's okay now. She says she's not sick anymore. David has to leave before he breaks down in front of her. He stands, squeezes her hand once more. I'll be back tomorrow. And when I come back, we're going to figure this out. All of it. Okay. He finds Williams in the hallway. I need you to keep her here tonight. Safe. Whatever James Whitmore says, whatever paperwork he has, don't let him take her until I get back. David, I can't. Please. His voice cracks. 24 hours. That's all I'm asking. Williams studies him, then sighs. I'll do what I can. But if they show up with a court order, my hands are tied. I understand. David leaves the station, gets in his car, and just sits there for 5 minutes, forehead pressed against the steering wheel. Elena kept this secret to protect their daughter. Signed away custody to people she thought would save her, and then died without telling him the truth. Why? What was she so afraid of? His phone buzzes. Another text from the unknown number. They told her one baby wouldn't survive. They told her to choose. She couldn't, so they chose for her. David texts back. Who are you? This time, a response. Someone who was there. Someone who's been carrying this guilt for 7 years. Meet Marianne tomorrow. But don't trust her. She's not the hero in this story. Then who is? No one. That's the problem. David starts the engine. Tomorrow, Boston. Tomorrow, answers. But tonight, he has to go home and pretend everything is normal. Make dinner for Caleb. Help with homework. Be the father he's been for 7 years. While knowing that somewhere, his daughter has been lost in the system. Forgotten. Reduced to a file with no records. And someone, Marion Whitmore, James Whitmore, the whole foundation, has been hiding the truth. His hands tighten on the steering wheel. Not anymore. The glass doors of Whitmore Foundation Tower over David like prison gates. He stands on the Boston sidewalk at 8:53 a.m., coffee untouched in his hand, staring up at the steel and glass monument to wealth. 15th floor. That's where Marianne said to meet. That's where he'll finally learn what they did to Elena. David tosses the coffee in a trash can and pushes through the revolving door. The lobby is all marble and chrome. Cold, clinical, designed to make visitors feel small. A security guard at the desk looks up. Name? David Montgomery. I have a meeting with Marianne Whitmore. The guard checks his computer. Nods. 15th floor. Elevators on your right. David's shoes echo across the marble. The elevator ride takes 47 seconds. He counts each one, watching the numbers climb, his reflection distorted in the polished steel doors. 15th floor. The doors open onto a reception area that smells like expensive perfume and lies. Mr. Montgomery. Marianne stands by a wall of windows overlooking the city. She's dressed in navy this time, hair pulled back, professional armor fully in place. Thank you for coming. Where's my daughter? Safe. For now. She gestures to her office. Please. We have much to discuss. David follows her into a space that's more like a museum than a workplace. Leather chairs, abstract art, a desk that probably costs more than his car. Marianne sits, folds her hands. 7 years ago, she begins, your wife came to Whitmore General with severe complications. Preeclampsia, hemorrhaging. The pregnancy was killing her. I know all this. You know what we told you. Marianne's voice softens. You don't know what we had to choose. David's jaw tightens. Elena was carrying twins. Marian doesn't look surprised. You found her letter. She said you made her choose between her daughters. Not choose. Save. Marianne stands, walks to the window. One baby was healthy, strong. The other was premature, underdeveloped. The medical team said delivering both would kill Elena and possibly both infants. We had minutes to decide, so you decided for her. We gave her options. Keep both and risk losing everything, or sacrifice one to save the other and herself. Marianne turns. She chose to try for both. Against medical advice. She wanted to believe we could save everyone. David's hands curl into fists. And we delivered both babies. The first, your son, Caleb, was healthy. The second, your daughter, wasn't breathing. We resuscitated her, but she needed immediate intensive care. Life support. Experimental treatments. Why didn't you tell me? Because Elena was bleeding out. Because we had seconds, not minutes. Because the choice became mine. Marianne's composure cracks slightly. I chose to save your wife and the healthy baby. I authorized the medical team to do whatever it took to stabilize your daughter separately. I signed a transfer paperwork myself. Transfer to where? A private medical facility connected to Whitmore Foundation, where we had resources the hospital didn't. Experimental neonatal equipment. Specialists. David's vision blurs with rage. You took my daughter and didn't tell me she existed. I saved your daughter when she had a 3% chance of survival. Marianne's voice hardens, and Elena died anyway. Complications from the delivery. Nothing we did could stop it. The room spins. David grips the back of a chair to steady himself. You still should have told me. Elena made me promise not to. If something happened to her, if the baby didn't make it, she didn't want you carrying that grief on top of losing her. That wasn't her choice to make. No, it was mine. Marianne returns to her desk, pulls out a file. And I made it. The baby survived. Spent 6 months in intensive care. Then she was placed in a medical foster system for children with special needs. Special needs? Developmental delays from the premature birth. Heart murmur. Weak immune system. She needed constant monitoring. David's throat tightens. And then what? You just forgot about her. No, we monitored her, paid for her care, made sure she was safe. In the foster system. In a facility designed for her condition. Until she showed up at my wife's grave. Marianne's expression shifts. Something like fear flickers across her face. That wasn't supposed to happen. What do you mean? She opens the file, slides a photograph across the desk. David picks it up. A little girl in a hospital bed, maybe 6 months old. Tubes and wires everywhere. But her eyes, those green eyes, are open, staring at the camera. That's Lily 6 months after birth, Marianne says. Now look at this. Another photo. Recent. Lily at the cemetery, kneeling by Elena's grave. But this photo was taken from a distance. Surveillance. How did you get this? We've been tracking her. Ever since she escaped the facility 3 days ago. David's blood runs cold. Escaped. She walked out during a shift change. 7 years old. No one noticed until morning. By the time we mobilized, she was gone. And she went straight to Elena's grave. Which should be impossible. She's never been to that cemetery. Never seen a photo of your wife. Doesn't know your address. Yet she found that exact spot. David stares at the surveillance photo. Lily's small hand on the gravestone. Her face turned up like she's listening to something only she can hear. The dreams, he says quietly. She said Elena comes to her in dreams. Marianne's silence stretches too long. You don't believe that, David says. I believe something connected that child to your wife. I don't pretend to understand what. David sets the photo down. Why are you telling me this now? Why not 7 years ago? Because 7 years ago, I thought I was protecting you. Now, Marianne's mask slips completely. Guilt floods her features. Now I realize I was protecting myself. For the choice I made. From the consequences of playing God. So what happens now? Now you decide. Take your daughter home. Raise her with Caleb. Try to give her the life Elena wanted. Marianne closes the file. Or walk away. Let's place her somewhere safe. Somewhere she can get the medical attention she might still need. David's answer comes without hesitation. She's coming home with me, even knowing she might have health complications, developmental challenges, that raising her could be. She's my daughter. David's voice breaks. Elena died protecting her. I'm not walking away. Marion nods slowly. Then we'll arrange the paperwork. Legal custody, medical records, everything. What about James? Your brother? He seemed pretty determined to take her. James doesn't know the full story. He thinks Lily is part of a research program, that keeping her in foundation custody serves a medical purpose. Marion meets his eyes. He's wrong, and I'm done lying. David stands. His legs feel weak, but his resolve is iron. I want her today. Now. The paperwork will take. Now. Marion studies him, then picks up her phone. Bring the girl to my office and prepare immediate release documents. She hangs up. She'll be here in 20 minutes. David nods, unable to speak. 20 minutes until he meets his daughter. Really meets her. Not as a mystery at a grave, but as his child. His phone buzzes. Text from Officer Williams. Whitmore lawyers showed up with court order. I'm out of moves. They're taking her in an hour. David shows Marianne the text. Your brother's making his move. Her jaw tightens. He doesn't have the authority. Apparently he thinks he does. Marianne picks up her phone again. This time her voice is steel. James. My office. Now. She hangs up before he can respond. This ends today, she says. Whatever game he's playing, whatever foundation politics he's using, it ends. The office door opens. James Whitmore walks in, expensive suit perfectly pressed, confidence radiating from every step. Then he sees David. His expression hardens. What is he doing here? Learning the truth, Marianne says. Something you should have let happen 7 years ago. The truth. James laughs. The truth is that girl is foundation property. Part of a medical research program that saved dozens of lives. You had no right to. She's not property. David steps forward. She's a human being, my daughter, and you're not taking her anywhere. James' smile is cold. Actually, Mr. Montgomery, I am. I have legal custody, court-ordered guardianship, medical necessity documentation. Everything I need. Built on lies. Built on contracts your wife signed. Under duress. While she was dying. A signature is a signature. Marianne stands. James, this stops now. I'm overriding your custody claim. As director of this foundation, I'm releasing the child to her biological father. James' mask finally cracks. Rage floods his face. You can't do that. I just did. The board will remove you. Let them try. The siblings stare at each other. Years of family politics. Power struggles. Resentments David can't begin to understand. Then James pulls out his phone. I'm calling security. Do that. Marianne's voice is deadly calm. I'll call the press. I'll tell them everything. About the illegal custody transfers. The falsified medical records. The way you've been using vulnerable children for research without proper consent. James goes pale. You wouldn't. Try me. A knock on the door. A nurse enters with Lily. The little girl sees David and runs to him. He catches her, lifts her, holds her like she might disappear. Daddy, she whispers. You came back. The word shatters him. James sees it too. Something in his expression shifts. Not kindness. Calculation. This isn't over, he says quietly. Then leaves, door clicking shut behind him. Marianne sinks into her chair. He'll fight this. He has resources. Lawyers. Political connections. Let him fight. David sets Lily down, but keeps hold of her hand. She's mine, and I'm not letting go. Marianne nods. Opens her desk drawer. Pulls out an envelope. Medical records. Birth certificate with both your names. Custody paperwork. Everything you need. David takes it with his free hand. One more thing, Marianne says. Elena's last words. Before she died. She asked me to tell you something if this day ever came. David's breath catches. What? She said, tell him I'm sorry. Tell him love doesn't die. It just waits to be found. David's hands shake as he opens the envelope at his car. Lily sits in the passenger seat, buckled in, watching him with those impossible green eyes. She hasn't let go of his hand since they left Marianne's office. The documents are all there. Birth certificate, Lily Grace Montgomery, daughter of David and Elena Montgomery. Medical records spanning 7 years. Custody transfer papers signed by Marianne herself, dated this morning. Legal. Official. Real. His daughter. Are we going home? Lily asks quietly. Yeah, sweetheart. We're going home. David starts the engine, but his mind is racing. James Whitmore's face. That cold rage. The threat that hung in the air even after he left. This isn't over. David pulls out of the parking garage, merges into Boston traffic. His phone sits in the cup holder, silent. No text from Officer Williams. No calls. Just the weight of everything he's learned pressing down on his chest. Elena knew. She signed those papers knowing one of her daughters might not make it. Made Marianne promise to keep the secret if things went wrong. And things went as wrong as they could. The lady says you're sad, Lily says. David glances at her. The lady in your dreams? Yeah. She says it's okay. She says you did good. I didn't do anything, Lily. I didn't even know you existed. But you found me. That's what matters. David's throat tightens. He focuses on the road. The drive back to Massachusetts takes 90 minutes. 90 minutes to figure out how to tell Caleb he has a sister. How to explain 7 years of absence. How to. His phone rings. Unknown number. David answers through the car speaker. Hello. Mr. Montgomery. A woman's voice. Not Marianne. Older. Frightened. My name is Shanice Brooks. I was a nurse on duty the night your wife gave birth. David's grip on the steering wheel tightens. I am listening. I'm the one who sent you those texts. About the piano bench. About not trusting Marianne. Why should I trust you? Because I've been carrying this guilt for 7 years. And because what Marianne told you today, it's only half the truth. David's blood goes cold. What do you mean? Pull over. Somewhere safe. This conversation needs your full attention. David takes the next exit, find a rest stop. Parks in the far corner. Lily watches him, curious but quiet. Okay, I am listening. Shanice's voice trembles. The night Elena gave birth, there were 2 teams. One for the first baby, your son. One for the second, your daughter. Standard protocol for high-risk twin delivery. Marianne said. Marianne told you what she remembers. Or what she wants to remember. But I was in the room. I saw what happened. David's heart hammers. Tell me, when Lily was born, she wasn't breathing. We resuscitated her. Got her stable. But she was small. Weak. Needed immediate NICU care. I know all this. What you don't know is James was there. Not as a doctor. As an administrator. He saw that baby and he saw opportunity. What kind of opportunity? Whitmore Foundation runs a neonatal research program, testing experimental treatments for premature births, heart conditions, developmental disorders. They needed subjects. James saw a vulnerable infant with no legal guardian. Elena was dying. You were with your son, and he made a choice. David's vision narrows. What choice? He falsified the death certificate. Told Marianne the baby didn't make it. Then transferred Lily to the research facility under a different name. A Jane Doe. For 6 months, your daughter was a test subject for treatments that weren't FDA approved. The world stops. You're lying, David says, but his voice shakes. I wish I was. I falsified the paperwork. James threatened my job, my license, everything if I didn't cooperate. So I did, and I've regretted it every single day since. Lily tugs on David's sleeve. Daddy, you're squeezing my hand too tight. He loosens his grip immediately, forces his voice calm. Then what happened? After 6 months, Lily stabilized. She didn't need the experimental treatments anymore. But James couldn't just release her. Too many questions. So he placed her in a medical foster system connected to the foundation. Kept her in the system under false documentation. No birth certificate. No real identity. Just a file number. And Marianne didn't know. James told her the baby died. Showed her falsified records. She believed it because she wanted to believe it. Guilt is easier to carry when you think there was no other choice. David's hands shake. If she didn't know, why did Elena's letter say to find her? Because Elena suspected something. She was delirious near the end, but she kept asking about the second baby. Marianne assured her both children would be safe. Elena made her promise, but Elena's instincts Shanice's voice breaks. A mother knows, even dying. She knew something was wrong. David stares through the windshield at the gray November sky. Everything Marianne told him, everything she thought was true, all built on James' lies. Why are you telling me this now? Because James is planning something. He's been searching for Lily ever since she escaped that facility. Not to help her, to protect himself. If anyone discovers what he did, the illegal research, the falsified documents, the years of medical fraud, he goes to prison. The foundation collapses. Millions in liability. So what does he want? To make her disappear again. Permanently this time. Overseas adoption. New identity. Somewhere no one will ever connect her to Whitmore Foundation. David's rage crystallizes into something focused. Deadly. That's not happening. I know. That's why I'm calling. You need to protect her. And you need proof of what James did. Otherwise, it's his word against mine. And I'm just a nurse with a grudge. Where do I find proof? Whitmore Foundation Medical Archives. Sub-basement level. Files are stored physically. James didn't trust digital records. Patient file 1247, JD. That's your daughter. Everything's in there. Birth records, treatment logs, transfer documents, all with James' signature. David's mind races. How do I get access? You don't. Not legally. But I still have my old security badge. It'll get you into the building after hours. The archives are locked, but she pauses. I can't ask you to break the law. You're not asking. I am deciding. Shanice is quiet for a moment. There's a coffee shop 2 blocks from Whitmore Tower. Brewed Awakening. I'll leave the badge under the sugar caddy at the back table. Go tonight. After 10. Security is minimal. Why are you helping me? Because 7 years ago, I made a choice that destroyed a family. And I can't live with it anymore. Her voice breaks completely. Your wife begged me to tell the truth. With her last breath, she knew something was wrong. And I stayed silent because I was afraid. Shanice, get those files, Mr. Montgomery. Bring James down. And tell your daughter, she sobs. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her some of us tried to fight for her. The line goes dead. David sits in silence, processing. Lily squeezes his hand. The lady says the truth hurts before it heals, she whispers. David looks at her. Did your mom tell you that? She tells me lots of things. In the dreams. She says you're strong enough to hear it all. David pulls her close. This child who survived experimental treatments, who spent years in a system designed to erase her, who found her way to her mother's grave through sheer, impossible will. Elena's daughter, his daughter. We're going home first, he says. You're going to meet your brother. Then tonight, he meets her eyes. Tonight, Daddy has to do something important, something that might be scary, but it's to keep you safe. Okay. Lily nods. Okay. David starts the car. 1 hour until home. Then tonight, he breaks into Whitmore Foundation because James Whitmore stole 7 years from his daughter. And David's going to make him pay for every single day. The coffee shop is empty at 9:47 p.m. David sits at the back table, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee he won't drink. The security badge is exactly where Shanice said it would be, tucked under the sugar caddy, laminated plastic with her photo and name. He pockets it, checks his watch. 13 minutes until 10. At home, Caleb and Lily are with Mrs. Patterson. His neighbor didn't ask questions when David said he had an emergency. Just nodded, smiled at Lily, and welcomed her like she'd always been part of the family. The moment Caleb saw his sister, his whole face lit up. You look like Mom, he'd said, wonderstruck. And Lily had smiled, really smiled, for the first time since David found her at that grave. 2 kids who should have grown up together. 7 years stolen. David stands, leaves cash on the table, walks the 2 blocks to Whitmore Tower. The building looks different at night. Glass and steel reflecting streetlights. Security desk glowing behind revolving doors. 1 guard visible inside. Head down, probably watching monitors. David swipes Shanice's badge. The door clicks open. The guard looks up. Evening. Forgot some files, David says, keeping his voice casual. Late deadline. The guard barely glances at the badge. Just waves him through. Elevators on your left. David nods thanks. Crosses the lobby. His heart hammers, but his steps are steady. The elevator feels slower at night. He presses the button for sub-basement. The doors close. The car descends past the lobby, past the parking levels, into the depths of the building where secrets live. The doors open onto a hallway lit by emergency lighting. Concrete floors. Industrial pipes overhead. The medical archives door is steel, marked with a simple plaque. Authorized personnel only. David swipes the badge. Red light. Access denied. He tries again. Same result. His phone buzzes. Text from Shanice. Badge won't work on archives. Security box next to door. Code 1247. Same as your daughter's file number. David finds the security box. Punches in 1247. The door's magnetic lock disengages with a heavy click. He pushes inside. Motion sensor lights flicker on, revealing rows of filing cabinets stretching into shadow. Medical files dating back decades. Organized by number, not name. Patient file 1247, J.D. Jane Doe. His daughter, erased and numbered. David moves through the rows. The numbers climb. 1100s, 1200s. His footsteps echo off concrete. The cabinet drawer slides open with a metallic screech that makes him freeze. He waits, listening. No alarms. No footsteps. Just silence and his own breathing. Inside the drawer, a thick manila folder. Patient 1247, J.D. printed on the label. He pulls it out, opens it. The first document is a birth certificate, not the one Marianne gave him. A different one. This one lists the mother as Jane Doe. Father unknown. Birth location, Whitmore Medical Facility, Sublevel 3. Sublevel 3, the research wing. David's hands shake as he flips through the pages. Treatment logs. Experimental drug trials. Consent forms signed by James Whitmore as medical guardian. Photos of an infant in an incubator, tiny body covered in monitoring wires. His daughter, treated like a lab specimen. The next section, daily notes for medical staff. Most are clinical, detached. But one entry, dated 6 months after birth, handwritten by someone named Dr. Kendra Hughes. Patient 1247 has stabilized. All experimental protocols successful. However, I have ethical concerns about continuing trials on an infant who no longer requires intervention. I've raised these concerns with Director J. Whitmore. He insists we continue per original research agreement. I do not have authority to override. Recorded my objection for the record. Another note, 2 weeks later. Patient 1247 transferred to Foundation Foster Facility per Director Whitmore's orders. I was not consulted. This transfer violates standard protocol. Documenting for legal protection. David photographs every page with his phone. The birth certificate, the treatment logs, the consent forms. Dr. Hughes notes. Everything. At the bottom of the file, a sealed envelope marked confidential, director eyes only. David tears it open. Inside, a single-typed memo on Whitmore Foundation letterhead. To James Whitmore, Director of Research. From Marcus Chun, Legal Counsel. Re. Patient 1247, J.D. Liability Assessment. Per your request, I've reviewed the legal exposure regarding patient 1247 J.D. If the biological father discovers the child's existence and our failure to notify him, the Foundation faces criminal charges for medical fraud, civil liability exceeding $50 million, loss of research accreditation, federal investigation into all Foundation medical programs. Recommendation: maintain current documentation showing infant deceased. Continue foster placement under false identity until patient reaches 18. Transfer overseas adoption before legal questions arise. Legal risk, critical. David's hands clench around the paper. They knew. James knew from the beginning the legal risk. And he planned to hide Lily until she turned 18. Then ship her overseas where David would never find her. Footsteps in the hallway. David freezes. Shoves the file under his jacket. Closes the cabinet drawer as quietly as possible. The archives door opens. 2 security guards enter, flashlights sweeping the room. Someone's down here, one says. Badge swipe registered at 10:03. David backs deeper into the rows of cabinets. Crouches low. His phone is still in his hand, photo gallery open, dozens of incriminating images saved. Check the back sections, the second guard says. Footsteps approaching. Flashlight beams cutting through shadow. David's heart hammers. He can't get caught. Not with this evidence. Not before. His phone buzzes. Text from Shanice, East Wall. Maintenance door. Leads to parking garage. Code 5828. David looks around. Spots a door marked maintenance half hidden behind a filing cabinet. He moves toward it, staying low, using the cabinets as cover. The guards are close now. Voices overlapping. Probably just a badge malfunction. Would do a full sweep in. David reaches the door. Punches in 5828. The lock clicks. He slips through just as a flashlight beam hits the spot where he was standing. Wait, did you hear that? David doesn't wait to hear more. He runs. The maintenance corridor is narrow. Pipes overhead, concrete underfoot. Emergency lighting guides him toward an exit sign ahead. He bursts through into the parking garage. Cold November air hitting his face. Footsteps behind him. Shouts. Stop. Security. David sprints to his car. Fumbles with keys. Starts the engine just as two guards emerge from the maintenance door. He floors it. Tires screech. The car rockets up the parking garage ramp, through the exit arm that splinters like kindling, onto the street. In his rearview mirror, guards on radios. Calling it in. David drives. Doesn't stop. Doesn't slow down until he's 10 blocks away, parked in a dark lot behind a closed grocery store, hands shaking so badly he can barely hold his phone. He opens the photo gallery. Counts the images. 47 photos. Every page of that file. Birth records. Treatment logs. The legal memo outlining James' plan. Proof. Complete, undeniable proof. David texts Shanice, got it. Thank you. Her response comes immediately. Get those to the police. Tonight, before James knows they're missing. David looks at his phone, then at the steering wheel, then out at the dark November sky. He could go to the police. Present the evidence. Let the system handle it. But the system failed his daughter for 7 years. Put her in research trials without consent. Erased her identity. Let James Whitmore play God with her life. David makes a decision. He pulls up a contact from his phone. Marcus Jenkins. Investigative journalist for the Boston Herald. Someone who's been trying to expose Whitmore Foundation corruption for years. David calls. 3 rings. Jenkins. My name is David Montgomery, and I have proof that Whitmore Foundation has been conducting illegal medical experiments on children, including my daughter. Are you interested? Silence. Then, where are you? Somewhere safe. Stay there. I'm coming to you. And Mr. Montgomery? Jenkins' voice is steel. If what you're saying is true, this is the biggest story of my career, and the end of James Whitmore's. David gives him the address. Hangs up. Then he calls Officer Patricia Williams. I need you to put Lily in protective custody. Right now. And I need you to send officers to arrest James Whitmore for medical fraud, child endangerment, and falsification of medical records. David, what did you? I have evidence. All of it. Just keep her safe until this is over. He ends a call. Sits in the dark. Waiting. 30 minutes later, Marcus Jenkins arrives. Camera crew. Legal team. The machinery of justice finally turning in the right direction. David hands over his phone. Shows them every photo. Explains everything. Jenkins' face goes pale as he scrolls through the images. This is, my God. This is criminal. Can you run it? Tomorrow morning. Front page. And I'm sending copies to every news outlet in Boston. This doesn't get buried. David nods. Good. By midnight, police descend on Whitmore Tower. James Whitmore is arrested at his home in handcuffs. News crews surround the building. The story breaks across every channel. Whitmore Foundation medical fraud exposed. Director arrested for illegal child experimentation. Father's 7-year search for stolen daughter. David watches from his car as the foundation empire crumbles on live television. And somewhere in that building, in offices filled with lies and money and false prestige, Marianne Whitmore sits alone with the truth she never knew she was protecting. His phone buzzes. Text from Officer Williams. Lily is safe. Caleb is safe. Come home, David. He starts the engine. drives toward home, toward his children, toward the life that was stolen and finally returned. Justice doesn't heal all wounds, but tonight it's enough. The courtroom smells like old wood and desperation. David sits in the front row, watching James Whitmore's lawyer argue for bail reduction. 3 weeks since the arrest. 3 weeks of headlines and investigations and reporters camped outside his house. Lily holds his hand. She insisted on coming today, wanted to see the man who tried to erase her. Your Honor, the lawyer says, my client is a respected medical professional with deep community ties. Flight risk is minimal. The prosecutor stands. Young woman, sharp eyes, files stacked in her arms. Your Honor, the defendant falsified government documents, conducted illegal medical experiments on minors, and planned to traffic a child overseas to avoid prosecution. He's a danger to the community and a definite flight risk. The judge, older black woman with reading glasses perched on her nose, studies the paperwork. James sits at the defense table in an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed, face empty of the confidence David remembers. Bail denied, the judge says. Trial date set for January 15th. James' head drops. His lawyer whispers something. James looks back, directly at David. No rage in his eyes now, just fear. Lily squeezes David's hand. Can we go home now? Yes, sweetheart. We can go home. They stand to leave. A woman approaches, mid-30s, professional suit, FBI badge clipped to her belt. Mr. Montgomery? Special Agent Keisha Ross. We need to talk about Mary Ann Whitmore. David's stomach tightens. What about her? She disappeared yesterday. Left the country. We believe she knew more than she admitted. The courtroom suddenly feels smaller. Did you see that coming? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe. There's one final chapter that reveals where Mary Ann went and what she knew. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Share your theories in the comments and help others find this story. Mary Ann's office is empty when David arrives with Agent Ross. The desk cleared. Files gone. Computer wiped. Like she was never here. She withdrew everything 3 days ago, Ross says. Liquidated foundation assets she controlled. Approximately $40 million. Gone. David stares at the space where Mary Ann sat when she told him half-truths. Why run if she didn't know? That's what we're trying to determine. Ross pulls out her phone. But we found something. Security footage from the night you broke into the archives. She shows him the screen. Grainy video. David entering the sub-basement. Guards searching. David escaping. Then another figure appears. Moving through shadows. Female. Opening a different cabinet. Taking files. The timestamp. 10:47 p.m. 40 minutes after David left. She was there, Ross says. Taking her own insurance. We think she knew about James' crimes all along. Maybe participated. Now she's protecting herself. David's chest tightens. The woman who claimed guilt. Who gave him custody papers. Who cried about protecting him. All calculated. Where is she? South America. Maybe. We're tracking financial movements. But Mr. Montgomery, Ross closes her phone. She left something for you. Courier delivered it this morning. She hands him an envelope. David's name in Mary Ann's handwriting. Inside, a single photograph. Elena in a hospital bed, hours before delivery. But she's not alone. Mary Ann sits beside her, holding her hand. Both women crying. On the back, Mary Ann's writing. She made me promise to tell you the truth if you ever found Lily. I kept that promise. The rest is my burden to carry. Keep them safe. David stares at the photo. Elena's face. That final day. His phone buzzes. Text from home. Daddy, when are you coming back? Caleb says we can make cookies. Lily. Safe. Home. Finally where she belongs. David pockets the photo. Looks at Ross. Find her. Make sure she answers for whatever she did. We will. David leaves Whitmore Tower for the last time. The building that stole 7 years. The place where secrets lived and children became numbers. Outside, November sun breaks through clouds. His car waits. His children wait. The truth still has missing pieces. Mary Ann's disappearance. Questions about who else knew. How deep the crimes went. But tonight, David will go home. Make cookies with his children. Watch them laugh together like they've known each other forever. Because some stories don't end with perfect justice. They end with choosing what matters most. And for David Montgomery, that choice is finally clear. Was justice served? Should David keep searching for Marianne? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe, because every story deserves a community that cares. Turn on notifications for more stories that inspire and challenge. Share this in the comments and help others find hope in unexpected places.